Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. So welcome to today's session. Is the second dialogue session celebrating United Nations World Humanitarian Day, 19th August 2021. So today's dialogue will be on SAEB global activities with partners 2021-2027. So I will be inviting today's guests and commentators to join us to talk about these topics. And Eugene Arokiasamy, President of SAEBD-ICCC, and CEO and SAEB International Limited UK. So welcome, Eugene. Are you listening well?
Good morning to Vitório from Malaysia. We're based in Malaysia. So it is evening time for us now, but thank you very much for organizing this event. Before we start, let me give you a brief overview on why we are doing this series. The PEIC, Portuguese East Indies Companies, and the Society for the Advancement of Education and Book Donation, the acronym is SAEB, made an agreement to promote awareness on different efforts that go around the world, where we can share people-to-people cooperation and ideas for making change that benefits society. We decided to have an East-West dialogue. The first dialogue, the inaugural dialogue, was held on the 24th of April, that being the United Nations Day for Diplomacy in Peace. And today we have the second inaugural, the second East-West dialogue. The focus is on the United Nations World Humanitarian Day celebration, which took place on the 19th of August, but we are celebrating it this weekend. Back to you, Vitório.
Thank you, Eugene. So let's introduce our speakers today from the panel. So we have here Vincent Pang. He is SAEB-ICCC Vice President Youth and National Treasurer of SAEB Malaysia. Hello, Vincent. How are you?
Yeah, hi everyone. Nice to meet you.
Where is your location? Which part of Malaysia?
Yeah, currently I'm in a state in Malaysia. We call it a state. It's called Selangor State.
Selangor. Okay,
yeah,
so welcome.
To Kuala Lumpur.
Okay, and then we have also here Yumiko Takano. She's the CEO of Ichigodaifuku PTL and president of SAEB Japan chapter from Japan. Hello, Yumiko Takano. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for accepting the invitation to come here to join this session. And then from Portugal, we have the municipal councillor of Proença-a-Nova Municipality, and is a very brilliant lawyer from Portugal, is Miss Daniela José.
Hello everyone.
Good morning to Portugal.
Good morning, good evening, and good morning.
And welcome to the session today, because yes, in these days we are witnessing some big problems around the world regarding to disasters, and the situation of humanitarian relief and aid is very important. So the topic is quite hot in the current moment around the world, I can say. Probably from Haiti to Afghanistan or Timor-Leste since the floods. So Eugene, before starting this session, what thoughts you would like to share previously? Your sound. your mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm getting old. Like technology is somewhat baffling for me. But I'm doing my best. But, we're very pleased to have this dialogue session because it allows voices of people to be expressed, different opinions, people of different political persuasions, but all working together for human good. Briefly, to give an overview for some of the viewers who may not know very much about SAEB, the Society for Advancement of Education and Book Donation has its roots starting some 10 years ago. And it's very interesting that Mr. Vitório mentions Afghanistan and the turmoil that exists. In 2007, I actually went on a mission to Afghanistan, a British-funded mission. And this is where actually some of the roots of SAEB originates. We went there to try and introduce information communication technologies for women and young people. But we went with an organization called Afghan Action UK, which had a program which educated young people. And when we spoke to the young people, they just wanted books. They wanted to learn. They wanted to improve themselves to be able to become better human beings. And likewise, after that, there was a trip to Timor-Leste, where I was there for a while. And we found that this is the same case. So we have now in our organization a collective of people. We have presidents from 6 countries. We have chapters 6 countries, Malaysia, United Kingdom, Australia, Japan, Singapore, and Timor-Leste. And we hope Portugal will be joining us soon. We have been in discussions with Mr. Vitório and also now Councillor Daniela. I surprised her a bit earlier on with some suggestions. We hope that Portugal joins the network of SAEB. So basically, we welcome all ideas and opinions. And today we have our chairperson of the board, David Carmichael, who should be joining us. I think he may be.
He's here already. Let's introduce David.
Okay, so let's pass over back to Mr. Vitório Rosário Cardoso.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, David. You are speaking from London, UK.
I'm speaking from a better place than London, UK. I'm speaking from Manchester, UK.
Manchester, UK. Very good. Okay, let me first introduce Michael. David Carmichael is member of the board of SAEB International Limited and president of SAEB UK United Kingdom, and as well as a distinguished lawyer. So David today he's today the keynote address speaker, and the item that he will be talking about will be on SAEB's vision of humanitarianism and books for peace 2021-2027, building partnerships. So David Carmichael, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for the welcome. I need to start with an apology for being a few minutes late onto the call. I hope that's caused no great consternation or any great difficulty for those who have taken the time to attend today. So I'd first like to start by welcoming everyone to this second session of the East-West Dialogue that has been initiated this year. And I should start with a couple of thank yous. The first is actually to Vitório, as he is one of the key partners in bringing to life some of SAEB's ambitions, both in Portugal and in Macau. And I think it's through his hard work and networking that we've been able to get both of these dialogue sessions underway. I should also thank Eugene, of course, for conceiving the idea of the East-West dialogue and for essentially making today happen in conjunction with Vitório. As I've already pointed out, this is the second dialogue session which we've held this year, but I understand that there are more in the pipeline. The more dialogue there is, the better, I think, our chances of learning from one another and perhaps helping others as well. So I should first of all say I'm going to try to keep my address as short as possible, out of an interest in maintaining your interest in what we're talking about today. And secondly, I am contravening my professional obligations of charging for every time I speak, because of course, as a lawyer, our words are our only commodity. As Daniela, I understand, being a lawyer also, will understand likewise. So just to touch on what we've done so far in this dialogue series, we held our first dialogue session earlier this year. And on that occasion, the keynote speech was delivered by His Royal Highness the Duke of Porto, Dom Denise, a very capable young man with a vision of how books can make a difference to all of our lives. And I think that's something which he has inherited from his own father's lifelong learning and love of books. And for those not in the know, of course, Dom Denise's father is His Royal Highness the Duke of Braganza, no less. So we listened with interest to his inspiring contribution around how books for peace in particular, books in general, can help to open the minds of those inquisitive to learn, and as a result create huge opportunities for individuals and communities. I should also say, whilst touching on the Duke of Braganza, that I am aware that both Eugene and Vitório are in discussion with His Royal Highness about his long-term involvement with the Books for Peace international initiative. And I hope that we can bring some positive news about those discussions to our next dialogue session. So, why are we celebrating and linking this celebration of the UN International Humanitarian Day to SAEBD and the network of Books for Peace and its international initiative? Just to take a step back to understand where this UN Day of Celebration comes from, it was in fact designated as a Memorial Day on account of the bombing on the 19th of August 2003 at the Canal Hotel in Baghdad, Iraq, where terribly the lives of 22 people were lost, including the UN's High Representative in Iraq, Sergio Vieira de Mello. And as a consequence of that terrible loss of life and very direct blow against humanitarianism, the UN decided in 2009 to formalize the day 19th of August as the World Humanitarian Day. And it's around that celebration, that commemoration of sacrifice that we're gathering today. For the UN, the World Humanitarian Day focuses on the theme of bringing together partners from across the humanitarian ecosystem to advocate for the survival, well-being, and dignity of people who are affected by crises in all of their different forms. In particular, this year, the UN has been using the Day of Commemoration to highlight the immediate human cost of the current climate crisis. And the UN is encouraging all world leaders to take a meaningful climate action to assist the world's most vulnerable people. And of course, within the context of world politics, we have the COP26 conference taking place in Edinburgh in Scotland later this year, at which it's hoped that there can be not merely common cause, but common action to try to address the tremendous and potentially existential threat posed to sections of humanity by the climate crisis. So how does this tie in with SAEB's vision and mission? Under the SAEB umbrella, it takes a number of forms, whether it's in the form of its International Cooperation and Coordinating Committee, comprising of national chapters headed by presidents with members and advisors attached to each, or it's through more organic and separate partnerships, which are organized by those national chapters with third parties with common interests in what SAEB is seeking to achieve. As far as the national chapters are concerned, or the national chapters of SAEB, we all operate within guiding principles which are set by SAEB International, which is the UK corporate entity which provides the governance structure for all those operating under the SAEB umbrella. Of course, whilst SAEB International sets guidelines and principles, the expectation is, of course, that within each of our nation states, there is, of course, observance of the local laws and regulations which apply to charities, not-for-profit organisations and non-governmental organisations, which can create additional layers of complexity, but nonetheless, there is an underlying commonality that within each nation there is a desire to help and to help others who are less fortunate than ourselves. As far as SAEB is concerned and the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, the organisation intends to implement projects which are, and when I reference the organisation, I mean SAEB, of course. We intend to implement projects which are related to education, whether that's in its pure form or whether it's more ad hoc in the form of book donation, letting people explore on their own through the medium of books. And we use most of the time as a catalyst to achieve the aims and objects of each project that SAEB is championing, whether it is in the form of Books for Peace or its sustainable agriculture program, or indeed supporting healthcare initiatives within Timor-Leste. So, for those unfamiliar with the workings of SAEB, it's probably worth my while touching on what its vision and values are. And of course, it serves as a useful reminder to those of us on the call who have been involved with SAEB for some time now. So SAEB's vision, it's fairly simple, as one would expect. It's about the development of educated, responsible and responsive communities worldwide that support and enable human capital development. I don't think that there is anything contentious there. And you will note that the desire to create corporate citizenship in its broadest term is not directed at one particular category of people, nor indeed one particular geography of the world. And the idea, I think, that underlies that is that we are not in some form of imperialism bestowing knowledge on people, but rather we are simply acting as a conduit for information, whereby we are as much recipients as are others and other nations who are less fortunate than our own in terms of disseminating information and providing educational opportunity. As far as bringing alive the vision is concerned through our mission, SAEB's mission is to facilitate the provision of education and educational material to people worldwide, and that's irrespective of creed, colour, gender, nationality, with a view to enhancing literacy worldwide and promoting the principles of sharing and caring, and by doing so, eradicating poverty and empowering human capital development. For us at SAEB, humanitarianism, which of course the 19th of August is all about, and climate change do go hand in hand. The UN has said, and I quote, climate change is a top driver of humanitarian need and humanitarian suffering, particularly for the poorest countries. The impact threatens to deepen already wide inequality, resulting in consequences felt by the world at large, including instability, violence, and displacement. And of course, the UN Secretary General has emphasized the planet's peril by stating that the UN report on climate change is a code red for humanity. Action is urgently required, whether that is in the form of reducing carbon emissions or it's about improving sustainable methods of agriculture. They all have a part to play in addressing the climate challenge. So how do we intend to foster a synergy between SAEB's vision and mission and the UN's Sustainable Development Goals? For those unaware, the UN, in fact, has 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which are aimed at alleviating a range of humanitarian afflictions, from poverty and hunger to climate change. As the UN comments on these goals, and again I quote, they recognize that action in one area will affect outcomes in others, and that development must balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. At SAEAB, we have adopted the UN's Sustainable Development Goal number 17 as the cornerstone of its operating procedures. And SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 17, is about the development of partnerships to facilitate the other 16 SDGs to be achieved, such as alleviating the problems created by climate change, by poverty, by hunger, and so on. It's our belief that the Sustainable Development Goal 17 on partnership building is a key guide for realizing our projects and our programs. Hence why it's at the center of our standard operating procedures. So coming on to partnerships that SAEAB is developing in 2021 and the future, let me provide an overview of our development in connection with our partnerships, again with the aim of serving and supporting our vision and our mission. Obviously, partnerships are far from being a new idea. Throughout history, the value of partnerships has been understood, whether it was the Greek city-states combining in partnership to defend themselves from the Persian Empire, or indeed the alliance between England and Portugal against Spain and later Napoleon. And so to the present day, SAEAB recognizes the value of partnerships. So last year, we were fortunate to have His Excellency, Dr. José Ramos Horta, past President of Timor-Leste, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, became the flagship champion for SAEAB's Sustainable Agriculture Programme for those with special needs and non-special needs. That was a considerable achievement attributable to Eugene and his hard work in the past in working with those in Timor-Leste and Ramos Horta in particular. The initiative around sustainable agriculture was in fact to have been launched in the Malaysian Parliament on the 26th of March 2020. But of course, due to COVID-19 and its pandemic, that launch has had to be rescheduled to a new date at the end of this year. We see this as a good opportunity to promote East-West cooperation and dialogue generally, but in particular in connection with sustainable agriculture. This year, we've signed a 5-year memorandum of understanding with High Health of Timor-Leste, which memorandum evolved following the first East-West dialogue held earlier this year. One of the results of that partnership is that we are now assisting with disaster relief for Timor-Leste, which of course suffered a terrible flood in April 2021, and perhaps is less well known in the rest of the world as of course it has been distracted by the impact of COVID-19. We are in partnership with Higham Health, working also on the establishment of an organic community farm, and also on the establishment of community libraries. Yet further evidence of our partnership working is that we have just signed a 5-year memorandum of understanding with University Putra Malaysia, which is a leading agricultural university in Asia, with a focus on human capital development and specifically on youth development within the field of sustainable agriculture. We have high hopes for being able to combine our expertise and their knowledge and networks for the benefit of those in Timor-Leste in particular, but elsewhere within the region. Moving into the future from our present partnership working, one of SAEB's short-term goals is to register as a new international NGO in Portugal, which we hope we can be achieved with the assistance of Vitório, with the aim of operating out of central Portugal. And that is it in terms of partnerships to date. So I just want to conclude by saying that partnerships are powerful tools for change, but without commitment, focus, and outcomes being achieved, they are ultimately merely an echo chamber. But I hope that with the energy and enthusiasm that both Eugene and Vitório are able to impart, that our partnerships will thrive, and the Special Development Goal 17 is furthered, and that as a result, we all benefit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Hello, David. Yes, thank you very much for such a deep vision of the humanitarianism, partnerships, cooperation, and as well the SAEB work around the time. And let's pass now to Vincent, which is from SAEB Malaysia PSPPBM Books for Peace project, Malaysia to Timor-Leste. It is the topic that he will be talking about. Vincent Pang, the floor is yours. Maybe now, do you have the microphone open?
Yeah, hi everyone. Okay, let me share a screen, will be more easier. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, so hi everyone, nice to meet you all. My name is Vincent. I'm currently from Malaysia chapter here as a Vice President Youth SAEB in the International. In the Malaysia chapter, I'm just a National Treasurer in helping Eugene to develop more. Okay, so this is my portfolio a bit about myself. So currently actively, I'm working as an employee, also actively involving in all the NGO activity past few months, year, and all my life previously. I'm like working for community. So throughout the IYC, I will talk about it. What is IYC? IYC stands for SAEB International Youth Community Member. Our vision here is the development of education, responsible and responsive community worldwide that support and enable human capital development. So our mission is to facilitate the provision of education and education material to people worldwide in respective of clear color, gender, nationality to enhance latility worldwide by promoting the principle of sharing and caring for priority education, empowerment, human capital, and nation building. So like SDG is our main goal here as a youth here because we wish to guide more youth to development to bring a world a better place. So from here is our our chart, how we're going to form it by our SAEBD International, which lead by president country. Then we will be followed by I will be guiding for the chairman there's a chairman IYC for the International Youth Committee. Then all the youth you will separate it to the project team. Each project team will bring the impact event to each country like that. Okay. So we also have together with our vice advisor team in backup to help us to support. Like every meeting, we're going to talk about how we're going to do it, how we're going to implement more, any guiding, any mistake, we will talk about it. And through discussion, I will representing IYC to bring up to the advisory team to talk more about it. Okay, so throughout all the community that we have past few years done it, like involving in the NGOs such as Scout to help them to develop more activity, mean like passing the food to the community, teaching the young what is about agriculture. All this picture is about this. Okay, like we also giving out the top training first aid, like to more to the youth to like actually not just only be a human, we also become a better person in the life, long life learning we are providing them. So in here, the last year we had done one project. We got a giving book to the school. So this is the picture from that. We are passing a few box around 20 box, and not mistake. So to the one of a Chinese school in Malaysia, state called Negeri Sembilan. So another one is another state also. We are passing around for the past few years books for the school. Next is our next project. We will bring book to Timor-Leste, which wish to set up a library for Timor-Leste to teach them what is about teaching about the book is really important, reading and the method of speaking and everything. So our next big project will be bringing a book to Timor-Leste to help them to set up a mini library in their community. And lastly, here we also have past few months, we already started to implement a new researching center in the Malaysia chapter, which we wish to develop more about what is agriculture, how to do agriculture activity and everything. So in here is like our Malaysia chapter really starting to do more researching center. We build up foundation and everything. So we try to implement more and to let every country will have a similarly activity with going on to build their community, bring it up. Normally, what we Malaysia chapter doing is just to do more, to bring up more youth to involving and let us to learn. And in the meanwhile, the world will become more better. Thank you very much. Here is all my sharing.
Thank you very much, Vincent, for such an interesting presentation. And the next speaker will be Ms. Yumiko Takano, CEO of Ichigodaifuku PTL and President of SAEBD Japan chapter from Japan. And the topic will be on SAEBD Japan's plan to assist others in Malaysia and Timor-Leste. Hello, Yumiko.
Hello.
Yes, please.
I'm a bit nervous.
It's your turn.
Right. Okay, let me start it on anyway. おはようございます。ありがとうございます。Good morning, and thank you very much. Hello to all of you, my friends in Portugal and around the world. Please accept my humble apologies My English is not very good actually. So therefore, I will read my speech and will do my best to participate also in the dialogue session. Thank you.
So Yumiko, would you like me to present your PowerPoint now?
I actually would like to ask somebody to support to do that because I actually use my little phone. So just to talk on it. Then Eugene, would you help me to do it?
Okay, I'm setting the PowerPoint now, okay?
All right, yeah, so let me read it and so I will show, I will tell you when the timing to show it, right? Thank you very much.
Okay, the PowerPoint is on.
All right, great. Yeah, it will be a little bit later on that's starting on. So I'm just talking about the slide first one for a while. Then I will let you know when the slide second and third one after that.
Okay.
Is that right? Okay, fine. And okay, let me read it up. Thank you. So my warm wishes of congratulations to PEIC and SAEBD-ICCC, SAEB International Limited, and partners for organizing this information sharing dialogue at the second East-West Dialogue session for this year 2021. The celebration of the United Nations World Humanitarian Day, which was on the 19th of August a few days ago, is a very good celebration to talk about education and the SAEBD-ICCC Network International Book for Peace Initiative 2021 to 2027. My personal thank you to Mr. David Carmichael, Mr. Eugene Arcasmi, Mr. Vitório Rosário Cardoso, for organizing this second dialogue session. My name is Yumiko Takano. I am the president of SAEB Japan and also the CEO of Ichigodaifuku PTL. I was a girl who loved reading books since I was a kid. My parents were also people who often read newspapers and various books. My book loving is also very good for my 3 children, and thanks to books. The 2 older children who have already grown up have grown up to be very linguistic. I am also a mother of a wonderful special needs daughter. How grateful. I know how important education is for making her life better now and for the future. I encourage her to read all the time and therefore know how important books are in our lives. Thankfully, my youngest daughter was born with a talent to grow up slowly. You don't have to rush to stop it. She grows up at her own pace, slowly and firmly understanding each and every meaning of the word. I am very proud of this. In normal school education, many words can be spoken at once. Quickly, it is packed with. Words that are temporarily packed just to get good points should remain in the hearts of children, sometimes in indigestion. In reality, every child wants to learn. People are originally very fond of learning. Books give knowledge, but they also help with building self-worth, confidence, and ability. I believe in reality, every child wants to learn. People are originally very fond of learning. Many children don't read books even if the parents want them to read. That's why parents should have fun reading books and tell their children what they've learned in a fun way. I think books of any genre are fine. What you are interested in right now. There are various things: sport, car repair, fashion, cooking. Maybe you will be building a house. Children suffering from poverty also need books. And it's exactly the same for those who have too much money to spend. I also know that in many countries, many people with children and also with special needs children, or who are refugees or who are poor, do not have access to books. This is why it is so important for us to help collect books for donation to others. It is very important educational activity. It is a very noble activity as well. Okay, we are going to slide second one and third one, please. Let me please share some photos in my PowerPoint presentation that shows you some of the work I have been involved and will also be involved in the future with my friends and the colleagues in and outside the SAEBD-ICCC network. I hope to be collecting books in many countries and in Japan too, even though many cannot read in Japanese. It will be good to have books in Japanese, especially children's books, just in case some are interested to learn Japanese. As the president of SAEBD Japan chapter, I see how important books are for teaching anyone. I believe it is very important for both non-special needs and special needs and people. All people can learn about the environment, healthy living, making the life of others better in books. They can also teach others and share with others after reading books about many places that maybe they have never visited. They can learn and share information after reading in books to others about organic agriculture, healthy living, and healthy food, which is important for living in the world today, especially with COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, we are going to slide 4, the refugee school in Johor, Malaysia, starting in 2021 and 22. So my first aim for this year and next year is to help the refugee school in Malaysia with books and other reading materials. Also, as the CEO of Ichigodaifuku PLC, a Japanese Malaysian company, we make organic Japanese food. This is for healthy living and healthy eating of good nutritious food using ancient Japanese tradition. Books can teach all people, special needs and non-special need people, how to grow the rice, soya bean, and other ingredients, and also how to make health food can be made like tofu or miso. This is a simple example of how books are so important. So we are going to slide 5, Timor-Leste in the future 2022. Thank you. I also will do this in Timor-Leste with my SAEBD colleague, Rosário Martin da Cruz in Timor-Leste from HIAM Health. She's the Vice President for Women in Development at SAEBD-ICCC Network. I hope we can all work together to start collecting and sending books to many countries around the world, especially to Timor-Leste, Malaysia, Cambodia, in Asia, and others in countries, Africa and South America too. Going to slide 6, thank you. The thank you slide is. Japan and Portugal people have been friends for many centuries. I hope this friendship in book collection and donation can also be few friendship that last for many years to come. Let us all be great friends in making the SAEBD-ICCC network Books for Peace International Initiative 2021 to 2027 a success. Let's read the book, and why not work with us on the Books for Peace International Initiative. Domo arigato. Thank you very much, Yumiko Takano, President, SAEBD Japan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yumiko Takano, for such an interesting insight of the work around Southeast Asia and South Asia. We have another guest here today, is the Municipality Councillor, Mrs. Daniela José. She's as well a brilliant lawyer from the Centre region of Portugal. Daniela José, today she will talk on the specific issue of international cooperation and humanitarian actions from Proença-a-Nova. So, Daniela, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning in Portugal and good evening to my dear section companions. I want to thank Vitório Cardoso, President of the West India Company, for the kind invitation and for understanding that I have the value to be able to share some of reflections on such an interesting and different topic. Greeting also Eugene Arikiasami, Executive President of SAEBD and CEO of SAEBD International, for making this dialogue happen, showing a global vision of the world between on education and culture as a way to improve the world. And on these events, the approach will to be talk about the information society and how it can contribute to a true intercultural dialogue in an increasingly global world, where the difference between the Occidental and Western vision are increasingly blurred. It is this spirit of adoption of an open attitude and the exercise of a capacity for continuous intercultural dialogue that translates intervalorization and articulation with other community, cultures, and ethnic origins. The promotion and strengthening of the dialogue and the determinate from principle that I'm sorry, my English is not good.
No problem. It is no very problem. Good. Please proceed. Yes, perfectly.
That establish equality and equity of access to opportunities and resources, with a view to greater social cohesion. Regardless of cultural difference, we all share common elements, and understanding the other is an exercise we have to learn. As such, it is necessary to invest in education, in the promotion of an intercultural dialogue, for transversal relationship in society. Each individual building is an identity with what we dream for with stories and the different culture contexts that surround him. We can then say that community development has application in the plurality of situations, calling for a link between population and the politic powers in order to improve development and all the surrounding communities, reorganizing to overcome its instability. Education is like a task of society, and the society has a task of education. This imperative to link education to society is fundamental. Someone has to make this bridge. It is that without education, there is no citizen, and global citizenship is not building on the basic of discrimination. Where comes the concept of the literacy that establish orientation for each person and in the continuous process of skills that is developing by the social, professional, and personal demands confronted throughout life. This is a concept, sorry, this is a concept that do not focus on obtaining, but rather on the use of these competencies. As some Portuguese, others would say, it's not about knowing what people are learning or not, but about knowing how his that in life situation people are able to use. We will adapt to reading, where the investigations carried out in the area prove that children develop different knowledge about writing language even before they are formally taught, interacting with other children, adults, or family members. Currently, the role of the family is seen as essential in the process of learning writing language. Participation in this process of people who are part of the child's daily life is considered fundamental for contextualized and meaningful learning. Family literacy refers to the practice and habits that are living in family context and which are a reflection of the characteristics, interests, language, experience, and the customs of the various elements of the family. Give the importance of the municipal libraries. Democracies facilitate, encourage, and guarantee the free access of people to documents, respect pluralism and the diversity of the editorial offer. Is far up the great access at the liberty of the public reading network. The book is for all age, for almost all social strates, and the importance means of support and transmission of the chronology and chronology. In Portugal, the creation of a national network program of public libraries as initiated in 1987, and this political decision announced to a remarkable intervention and the necessary for the change of national reality, and can serve as an example for a paradigmatic change in the cultural reorganization defined by each one of the regions of the world. The library is considered a unique space for access to information, education, culture, and leisure, embracing education functions and supporting the development of the competencies. This does open a passage to chronology, facilitating the basic condition for lifelong learning, being a space of and with information of any kind being available regardless of the development cultivated of the individual or social groups, corresponding to the objective of the sustainable development of the 23rd Agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniela, for such an interesting overview from Portugal. So, Eugene, what would you like to comment after so many interesting presentations today?
Well, thank you very much, Vitório. Thank you very much to all the speakers, David, Daniela, Yumiko, Vincent. Just to start with, I have to be a bit officious. Chairperson David, we are still in the process of signing the MOU with the University Putra Malaysia, but I think we're moving forward quite well. So not to make University Putra get a bit nervous that we have announced it before we've signed it. So we're still in the process.
My apologies.
No, thank you very much, David. In light of the the visions given by all the different people in the different nations, the synergy. For instance, Portugal having it as part of law to have to have libraries and access to education. Miss Yumiko showing us examples of what we can do with refugees in different countries, even or stateless persons. Vincent with the role of youth. I would like to ask actually our esteemed moderator, who is also our partner, to give us a bit of his views and insights on the progress of the role of Portugal as being a supportive partner in the most immediate project that we are all working on, and that's the relief project for Timor-Leste. And I think in the first dialogue, this was raised, and subsequently we've had meetings with His Royal Highness, the Duke of Braganza, Dom Duarte, with regards to getting Portuguese and the Portuguese citizens of all walks of life to be involved in a project where we can collect books and other items which could be sent to Timor-Leste and then other Portuguese-speaking nations. So if Vitório, you could give us a bit of insight, because we have a councillor from central Portugal,
Proença-a-Nova.
Yes, okay, I'm sorry, I always get this wrong. But like, you know, it would be great to see some kind of, from this meeting, right, some immediate gluing of a project to come out. Maybe Proença-a-Nova could be the focus for Portugal or Europe, or collaboration with UK to get this project moving, right?
Eugene, thank you very much for your question. Indeed, you are absolutely right. And it is our full honor to have the municipal councillor of Proença-a-Nova, Daniela José, here with us today, because the location of the municipality, it is exactly in the center region of Portugal. So it is a common point or equidistant point from any part of the Portuguese country to reach the center region. So this is a way to try to get the Portuguese civil society from north to south, from the east to west, from the seaside shores to the landlocked region. So it is very important that we could sustain the project in Proença-a-Nova, and who better knows Proença-a-Nova is our municipality councillor, Daniela José. And I think it is as well an opportunity, a great opportunity to link up the youth of Portugal from the center region, from Proença-a-Nova to the international society or community to have this kind of engagement. Not because normally I think that from my own experience in the Portuguese littoral area or seaside area, they are much more engaged with international corporations than the countryside. So, but I think that there are as well great opportunities, because if we we can create a project that can engage the roots of the society in the countryside region or in the center region, we will open not only the opportunities for cooperation for the people who more need support from the developing countries or the countries that are under threat, but as well we can open opportunities for the people in the countryside to be engaged, to be useful. And one thing that is very, very important, to exchange the know-how that they have, for example, regarding to agriculture. The landscape of the center region, it is as well very diverse. It is not homogeneous, and due to this specification, it is a concentrated diversity. What means that in a short distance of area, you have complete diverse type of crops and nature. So this could be of as well an add value for projects like agriculture, but as well this center countryside, center regions areas are as well very rich on culture and knowledge. Therefore, the books sharing could be very interesting to project from the ground. Myself, I had the opportunity to establish contacts, courtesy contacts to visit some city mayors in the district of Castelo Branco, is the one of the major districts in the center region. And I think that the approach that I did with the city mayors, they are all very kind and open to accept this kind of challenge, to be involved in international cooperation, because as well through the international cooperation, the municipalities, they could also project their image abroad, and of course for future relations could be much fruitful in this sense. So currently I've managed to be in touch with the major city mayors in the center region or from the district of Castelo Branco, and as well the municipality of Proença-a-Nova, that where Daniela José belongs and holds an important office or work over there. And as you suggested, it is very important as well to have the support and endorsement of Mrs. Daniela José to support this kind of project, because she's the one that is in touch with all the population of Proença-a-Nova. So I think that in this sense, Ms. Daniela José, she will have the key role on this. And I can tell another thing, that Daniela José, since long time ago, she's very well engaged in youth activities. So who's better to fulfill this pivotal role? I think like in this live session, this is a direct invitation to Ms. Daniela José to be engaged in this project. Of course, respecting her will or her possibility to accept it or not, or to engage in what kind of in what level. So on the other hand, I think that from Portugal and from the center region of Proença-a-Nova, we can at the same time extend invitations to the Portuguese civil society nationwide, and at the same time to the Portuguese civil society or private sector, because the Portuguese private sector is well known for the best policies of social responsibility, and they are always very well engaged in the international cooperation. So I think that we have reunited all the best conditions from Portugal, and I think to center the operations through Proença-a-Nova could be really a good idea. And then just geographically, I have to give a small explanation. There is a city, a village called Vila de Rei is a small town municipality in 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers. It's very near from Proença-a-Nova. It is the Portuguese geographical middle land or middle ground. It is called Vila de Rei, the king's village or the king's town. So it is in Portugal, we call it Centro Geodésico. I don't know if in English it is like a geodesic center. I don't know if you have this kind of word, geodesic, but means the exact continental Portugal middle point, landmark. So this proves that we are really at the center heart of Portugal. In this sense, I would like to pass the words to Ms. Daniela, to if she would like to add something on what are the opportunities in this kind of engagement of book support, book relief, to support the sending of books to Timor-Leste, how we used to call a brother country of Portugal, a country that is a Portuguese-speaking country, and we have long-lasting ties. Daniela? You need to open the mic. Yeah.
It's okay. Hello, everyone. Proença-a-Nova is a beautiful village in Portugal. We invited for come here. Vila de Rei, it's correct, is the Centro Geodésico de Portugal. You understand me?
Yeah, the geodesic center of Portugal.
Yeah. I don't know, but in English, it's okay? In English? Yeah, okay. The books in Proença, I'm accept the invitation. Vitório. Thank you. In Proença-a-Nova, it's possibility. It's a good change for us, good change for Portugal. It's my English is not very good, but many years no speak English a long time.
Your English is far better than our Portuguese.
Okay. In Portuguese, I speak very well and very fast, but English is very difficult for me. But I speak French very well. But my mother born in France, but still living in Switzerland. But English is not usually for me. But I understand very well. But I speak. It's very difficult for me. But in Proença-a-Nova, it's a great opportunity for us, for this municipality, this village from Portugal is open door from Europe, from Portugal, from the countries speak Portuguese. It's very interesting, this project, this person. Yeah, and thank you. I'm not...
And then Daniela, for example, for instance, in Proença-a-Nova, the young people used to study in Coimbra,
Yes.
in Lisbon and Porto City to the universities studies, and then just from few hundred kilometers, around 100 kilometers, is Coimbra. It is the oldest university, one of the oldest universities from Europe.
Okay. Coimbra, it's...
Where Daniela studied there.
Yeah,
the law studies.
In Coimbra, and the law studies and the master for Coimbra. The Coimbra is 100. Okay. Lisbon, I don't know the kilometers exactly. It's a
100 something kilometers, I think.
Yes, from Lisbon, it's okay. Porto...
from Proença-a-Nova, is it 100? Not 100, less than 100 kilometers. From
Coimbra, not Lisbon.
No, from Proença-a-Nova, how long time is it to reach?
1 hour. From
1 hour.
Coimbra,
So how many kilometers from Proença-a-Nova?
Well, it will depend how fast you're driving.
No,
like
how many kilometers distance from Proença-a-Nova to Coimbra? Maybe 80 kilometers.
9.
90.
Yeah.
90. So you see, it's quite close. What this means that the major hubs of research and studies, university studies, are quite close to Proença-a-Nova as well. Like
Coimbra and Lisbon.
Yeah, and Lisbon.
Yeah.
And if I could add at this moment, we have representatives of people who come from nations that have a long history of cooperation, friendship and cooperation with Portugal. Portugal, I think the Jesuits went to Japan many centuries ago, were probably the first. Britain and Portugal have a great history of friendship and relationship. So it would be quite interesting for us to have a focal point in Portugal, right? As a center, the center of the universe as such. David Carmichael is an expert in advising on large corporations, enterprises. And Yumiko herself is a Japanese entrepreneur. There could be this tie where if Portugal is so willing, as I'm saying this as a commentator, we have some kind of focal center, for different types of activities. We're glad that our chairperson is here, David Carmichael. I'm sure he would be most happy to invite you to the board. He is the chairperson. So he is the person who does this type of invitations. We have our youth vice president who could work with you very closely on youth activities. And we have our president from Japan, who would, I'm sure, be most happy to get Japanese to Portugal if there's a center of activity. And same likewise, Britain. I think Britain has 1.5.
Eugene, sorry for interrupting you. Even for the Japanese, Proença-a-Nova is the cherry trees land. So if the Japanese like or adore to watch the cherry trees blossom, Proença-a-Nova is the place of the cherries in Portugal.
Vitório.
Yes, I think that Eugene just freeze. Yes, please, David.
You touched on the region being agricultural and very diverse. I take it are there associated industries with agriculture, such as food processing? Production of olive oil or
yes, of course.
Other things?
There are industries, food production industries, and around the region, the biggest paper factory production as well, paper-related products. It is called the worldwide company. It is called the Navigator. It's the paper company, Navigator.
Yeah, and ever more important as we try to remove plastic from packaging.
Oh, that's a good point. And then on the other hand, that are as well companies that are linked to IT, that is calling from Proença-a-Nova OutSystems. Yeah, it is quite diverse. You have companies related to IT. Around there, you have the whole wood-related industries, the paper industries around, agriculture, F&B, food and beverage products, and even the traditional food from Proença-a-Nova. It is as well not only based on pork or beef, but is it called goat meat?
Yeah, that's correct.
Exactly, because we know that some countries, majorly Muslim countries, they don't eat much pork or beef, But anyway, goat meat, I think it is the most common kind of meat. So in Proença-a-Nova, that region, it is quite diverse. That can establish good links around the world.
Is the region
one of
engaged
the
in...
Sorry.
So you go ahead, Eugene.
Sorry, no, David, I'm sure it's going to link with your question, right? The topic we are discussing today is humanitarianism. The theme that the United Nations has promoted is climate change, dealing with the climate change crisis, our vision and mission of our society, and I think all of us is to try and make the world a better place. So, and I'm possibly linked to David, I don't know, but like the idea is from our chairperson's speech, the synergy, the potential to bring together people and use what we help as part of humanitarian effort may not just be only sending food or bringing it's about human capital development, and the importance of training and building the skills of people, very important. It may be because COVID-19, we have come across COVID-19, we can't travel, we can't move around, but we have the information communication technology available. We have human resources available. So how could we facilitate this, through some kind of collaborative effort would potentially require a hub, a focal place, right? Where such activities can take place. So as part of a view of humanitarianism. So I don't know if it links to your question, David, but like, in terms of how do we create a humanitarian, a multi-pronged humanitarian effort from collaboration?
Well, I had a different point, and actually, at the risk of disagreeing, having a point of focus obviously is very important, and that's a point of focus in terms of thinking. So we're all driving in the same direction, trying to achieve the same outcome. But I also think that the pandemic has helped demonstrate that, how can I put it? It's a bit like Christianity in a way. You don't need to be in a church to talk to God. You don't need to be in a particular place to communicate an idea. So having a single point geographically, I don't think is essential. But I'm very open to being challenged on that idea. I think that if having a place in which we can put assets, physical assets, as well as people, who of course are also probably the most important asset, it improves our goal of helping people educationally and with human capital development. If that is assisted by actually having a physical location, and it's in Portugal, central Portugal in particular, I'm all in favour of that. But I'm not sure that it necessarily has to be our a central point at this stage. When I mean central point in terms of our priorities, I think that it's getting our relationships established, getting our goals established, Otherwise, we may have 6 people here with 6 different ideas going off after 6 different objectives. And we need to, I think, concentrate on, you know, getting with the, I don't know if this translates to low-hanging fruit, getting some easy wins. And I don't know whether, I mean, I think it's a laudable and commendable aim that we have a centre that extols our values and promotes our interests. But I think that's a medium-term project. I think what we ought to be looking at is, you know, getting a pipeline of books, a logistics arrangement which allows for their delivery. We need metrics which demonstrate what we're doing and how we're doing it. So how many books are being delivered, where they're going to, so that we can measure the benefit that we are bringing to people. Because otherwise we might be just shunting books that have been printed every other page the wrong way round or blurred, and we are sending books, yes, but they're no use to anyone. So we need, you know, in my view, on the Books for Peace initiative, we need to identify, you know, a good source supply, logistics, an element of quality control to make sure that what we're sending is good and that it arrives in good order as well, and that they get to the place that they need to get to, and that they aren't, let's say, siphoned off to be pulped to create recycled paper, or that they're not sold off in some third country. None of those that we've mentioned, but one can see, and it's been said in connection with Afghanistan, with all of those trillions of dollars that have been put in to regional development funds within the provinces in Afghanistan, that certainly a portion of the money never got to the people it was intended to help, because the intermediate officials were taking a percentage. Who's to say that in a country where we haven't got proper metrics and quality control, that someone's not just going to take the books and sell them, and they pocket the money, and the people we're trying to help don't get the books. So those are the things I think, and it's only my thought, but those are the things I think that we, you know, should be concentrating on. But it's certainly a laudable and intermediate aim, I think, of establishing a presence within Portugal, and certainly, you know, geographically, it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, perhaps we ought to rename SAEB after Henry the Navigator.
Well,
very well indeed. It's very important that the focus and to establish the procedures, so that we can be efficient on running and developing the project. Otherwise, easily we can get lost in translation.
Right. The reason I've raised this point is that the vast majority of viewers for this program, it's hosted by Portugal. We would like to, in a way, use this as an opportunity to give some insight to those who may want to be involved in our Books for Peace project, how and the focal area that may exist in Portugal for them to be getting involved or sending their books, or being long-term involved by supporting it or sponsoring it, or even going along with the books to another country. So we have a councillor. I apologize that I may have put her in a spot and suggesting that her city council may be involved. But the idea is to have some kind of encouragement for the people of Portugal to be involved in such an initiative.
And on the other hand, I need to add up that even on logistics, if we create the center in Proença-a-Nova, the storage could be much more economic than in downtown Lisbon. Of course.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, the distance from Proença-a-Nova to Lisbon or to the port, it is from directly through the highway. So in one 2 hours time, any kind of containers could be shipped from Proença-a-Nova to any Lisbon port, for example. So this is important to set the location for the logistics maneuvers. And this is the perfect place to centralize the operations, because anyone that would like to send books to support, they only need to send it to the middle ground, to the center region. So don't need to send very far away, 300 kilometers or 600. From any spot of the country, around 100-200 kilometers, will reach immediately Proença-a-Nova. So in this sense, this is a good opportunity, and of course we will need a lot of Daniela expertise on the relations of the entities that could support in the books offering, and as well the logistic sites from Proença-a-Nova, even if inviting the municipality to join this action. I think that the president of the city mayor would be most happy to assist, because I as far as I know him, it is very interested in promoting and internationalize the name of Proença-a-Nova. So we are in this endeavor together. So we reach already 1 hour and 30 minutes. So would you like to give some last remarks? Or maybe starting from Daniela, because Daniela needs to go out earlier. Daniela, would you like to send any last remarks?
Thank you, everyone, for the invitation and this beautiful project. I accept this change, and thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniela. And we will keep in touch with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Daniela.
So I will pass the floor to you, Eugene.
Our chairperson has the last word. He is my supreme leader. So I just want to say, like, my little 2-bit, right, the 2 cents worth. I think it's been a wonderful dialogue. We have come up potentially with something very concrete as a humanitarian effort, starting from Portugal, where multiple countries can be involved, multiple sectors, legal, we have lawyer, we have youth, we have enterprise, we have different genders, different. So one. Thank you very much, Vitório. Thank you for the speakers, because from the start of the dialogue, now we've ended up with a very concrete, conclusive project to happen in the name of humanitarianism and in celebration of the World Humanitarian Day. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Eugene.
Yeah, thanks, Vitório. Can I just add very quickly? Yeah, I found it interesting to be able to listen to everyone. If there is I always like lots of context. So when we're talking about Portuguese, it was really helpful to understand. You know, very interesting to learn about the region, what it does. You know, in terms of agriculture and other activities, other industry. But I also, in that same area of context, would be interested to know, I suppose, on a Portuguese-wide level, if there are areas of humanitarianism, whether it's a geographical focus or not, if there are areas that are of greater appeal. So, for example, I mean, I'm sorry, in the UK, very UK-centric, but it's whatever gets flashed on the news, you know. So, yeah, the earthquake in Haiti, suddenly, you know, charities are rushing to get relief effort, and rightly so. So there tends to be a bit of a 5-minute focus on the part of the wider public around what they're doing to help. And I just wondered if there's something, if it's a similar mentality in the rest of Europe, in Portugal in particular.
I think so, because in the sense regarding to Timor-Leste, in Portugal, since the beginning, to support the independence of Timor-Leste, it was possible to make the biggest Portuguese human chain around the country.
Wow.
Yes, and on the other hand, the Timor-Leste is a country that is very, very dear for the Portuguese civil society, and it's a country that emotionally is very linked to the Portuguese people, not only due to the images of the massacres in Dili, in the cemetery, etc.
With Indonesia.
Yes,
yeah.
and probably a bit of self-guilt on the whole process since 1974, 75. I think the current Portuguese civil society have an emotion that wants somehow to repair or support and repair the past wrongdoings in some sense.
Post-imperial guilt.
Not really.
That's what we in Britain have.
But on the situation that the Portuguese authorities abandoned the people from Timor-Leste and then entered the Indonesian. This period was very terrifying, terrible for not only the Timorese people, but as well for the Portuguese memories. It was very harsh. The situation. That's why the civil society since the beginning wants to hold the hands of Timor-Leste and then to strive the future in together like brothers, and of course among the organizations like CPLP, the Community of Portuguese Speaking Countries. It is sort of an organization that is similar to the Commonwealth, but a bit different, because we don't have any head of state, head of Commonwealth. We are in equal ranks in the organization. But responding to your question, yes, the Portuguese people is rapidly and very willing to support such projects to support Timor-Leste.
Is there a similar approach to, say, Mozambique?
Yes, I can give you some small examples. Like in my daughter's nursery or school, time to time we have campaigns for Mozambique relief.
Yeah.
To for example, to look for food or even medicines, the pharmaceutical products, to send it to Venezuela.
Wow.
To Venezuela, to Mozambique, and not only food, but sometimes when we are before or at the end of the term of the year, there are campaigns to get books and pens and school bags for the children. So every family used to buy a small bag for children that we put a notebook, pencils, pens, color pens.
Terrific
idea.
idea.
To send this backpack to Mozambique. This is a normal reaction from the Portuguese public in terms of relief and in supporting these kind of campaigns.
Vitório, on that note, right, we had Vincent, our Vice President Youth, talk about his youth, what the idea of the youth. That's a youth committee. We have a young person from UK. Vincent is the chairperson. There's a young person from UK. We have other young people from other countries, Timor-Leste, 2 persons. How do you think youth and youth from Portugal can be, and this is really for Vincent, right, could be involved in all the activities in our youth council, in our youth committee? Because it would be great to have
it is indeed very important, the role of the youth, because the youth are those that are always ready for full action. So the Vincent's role is very important to link up and to share information and then to do calls for action. And in this sense, we can support Vincent as well to establish the links and the ties with the Portuguese local youth or youth organizations that can be in touch with Vincent, so that Vincent can coordinate any kind of activities that he thinks that suits most to support these kind of actions.
Primarily, I mentioned this also because, our partnership with the University Putra Malaysia is based on also a very strong link with the Institute of Social Science Studies. And their forte is youth development and very specifically youth-adult partnerships, right? How adults and young people work together. So if we can use this as a modeling process as well, right? How we get young people, intergenerational people involved in this humanitarian project. And if it's agreed, it's technically launched today, that Portugal can be the focal country for doing this activity. And Proença, I won't make
Proença-a-Nova.
I'll just say Nova, right? Nova can be the focal point with UK involvement and Vitório, Malaysia. I mean, Portugal has a history with Malaysia too, Malacca, right? So wonderful opportunities.
Okay, thank you very much, Eugene. So today, does anyone wants to have the latest last remarks, or we can?
I've just got a question. Do we have any connections with any of the Portuguese universities?
Sure. It was what I've talked about. For example, Daniela studied in the Coimbra University, one of the oldest universities from Europe. I myself, I studied at the Portuguese Catholic University. I know I'm good friend to the rector. Is a lady. Professor Isabel Capelua Gil. She lived in Macau and studied in Macau during her childhood. So, and is a rector that is fully engaged in Portugal-Asia cooperation as well.
Excellent, because that as a youth development is an obvious ally, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it is a matter to send her an invitation and to send her a letter, or to tell her about our endeavors and talk about a little bit about our projects, to see her reaction to that. But I think overall is a person that is very, very actively engaged in cooperation between the Portuguese Catholic University and Asian universities.
Excellent. That sounds terrific. Thank you.
So, Eugene, do you want to have the role of moderator to end the session?
Right. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to the audience. Very much we appreciate you getting involved, especially the people, citizens of Portugal, but everybody else who's very happy for us. We are very, very enthused. I think I take advantage of my chairperson being here, but we very much look forward to having this. This link with Portugal in different aspects, right? And the birth of it is the conception of this project of humanitarian aid to a focal country, Timor-Leste. All the people of Portugal, the people of Britain, people of Malaysia, people of Japan, can all Australia, all other any country involved, but they know where the birthplace is, right? Nova in Portugal.
Okay, thank you very much, Eugene. Thank you very much, David Carmichael, Vincent Pang. So we will meet together in the next session to be announced. And thank you very much for all the viewers that can see the conference on YouTube and Facebook later on. Thank you very much, and bye-bye to everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thanks, Vincent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vitório. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.